Holy shit, it's a manual? What is this doing here? This is a crazy spec. Hello everyone and welcome back to Eurofever Garage. As always, I'm your host Donovan, and in today's video we're going to take a look at how to find a future project car or maybe even just a daily driver. For those of you who maybe are like myself and you're always just scrolling on your phone, Facebook isn't cutting it anymore and you just want something a little different. Maybe you're trying to start a YouTube channel and you've bought a couple project cars like myself. There are other ways and channels to find a good car for a affordable price. As we've seen with COVID pricing and just the used market overall the past couple of years, things have pretty much stayed elevated, maybe dropped a little bit, but there are certainly diamonds in the rough to be found. And so a couple ways you can do that are with auctions. If you've ever watched Noor Humadi, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, he is a very prominent auction buyer. Sam Crack is another one that I used to watch a lot. A lot of these YouTubers just buy cars from auctions because, of course, it's good content, but it's also pretty cheap. I'm going to show a few ways on how to actually bid on these cars, whether you have a dealer's license or not. I do not personally, but when I was at a dealership, I did have access to one, but those are completely different calibers of auctions. So we're not going to be talking about that today, specifically focusing on Texas auctions. So you can't bid on anything that's clean title unless you go through a brokerage, which I'll be going over in today's video. I am actually recording this after what I've recorded already because there was a live auction, which I'll mention later in the video. So I'll be repeating a little bit of what I'm saying here, but again, just talking about auctions in general, so on and so forth. So with that being said, let's just hop right into Copart. So behind me, as you can see, is Copart, one of the most prominent of buying salvage cars. I wanted to go a little bit into the process of what that's like for people who don't have a dealer's license like myself. This is specific to Texas, so be sure to look through Copart's page as well as your local law in regards to how to buy clean title cars if you need one, and just what that process is. Copart does a really good job of having a separate section in the help center for each state. Again, just focusing on Texas. But with that being said, outside of Copart, there's a few other websites that I like to go through. So we'll go through those as well and see if we can find anything cool. It's been a little bit since I had looked for any cars and would be interested to see if anything interesting is up for auction. So let's start with what is needed. As I mentioned, for clean title cars, at least in Texas, you do need to go through a broker. Now, what's really cool is if you click this link right here, then Copart will lead you to a list of good brokers that you can utilize for purchasing clean title cars. I personally use AutoBidMaster. They're okay. I think it's just the most common, but use your own judgment and research. They break down the fees on what else is needed in order to actually buy a car from them. So again, just pick which one you like the best and go with that one. So let's start with Copart. Let's figure out what's kind of for sale, how I use the website, and how you might be able to find your next car. Going into inventory, I'll usually just go straight to no license required. These are all salvaged vehicles for the most part. On occasion, you can find a clean title car. I'll start by going to just automobiles for vehicle type because I don't really want to look at agriculture or ATVs or anything like that. You can also add SUVs and pickup trucks, so I'll just do that since they're technically cars. And then lastly, I'm just going to look at Texas in particular. If I was looking for a specific car, I might restrict it. I might not restrict it to my state and just look across borders, simply for finding a parts car. But again, this is for me looking in particular for like something in Texas that I just didn't want to go far for. All right, so that's all the Texas locations. Next, I'm going to go to condition type. And this is where you can actually specify what kind of damage you are willing to accept on a car. As you can see here on this Ford Bronco, it says front end damage. I'm not a big fan of that. You don't know what happened to the engine, but if you're looking for a parts car, you're more than welcome to do that. I typically will just do normal wear, minor dents and scratches. In the medium section, I'll probably just do vandalism. And that does restrict your options quite a lot, but it's what I would be looking for if I was looking for a car in particular. From there, there's a couple of random logos you'll be seeing here. So this R just means runs and drives. You might see an E from time to time, which just means enhanced. Sometimes that means they did something to it. Runs and drives, typically what I'm looking for, it just means that it turned on, it moved, able to be put in gear, and that's pretty much it. With that, let's go through makes, and since this is a little bit more of a Euro-oriented channel, I'm going to just pretty much pick anything European. But if I see something I like, I'll go for it. So, from the 93 that we originally had, 92, we're now down to 9. Let's start with this XF. So once you've pulled up an auction that you like, from here I'm going to look at a few things in this section here. For some reason they don't give you the whole VIN. You might have to be signed in, but every auction will usually have the VIN pictured. I might be mistaken, but I'm pretty sure they're supposed to have the VIN pictured. I think I just have to sign in and it'll give you the rest of the VIN. But next I would look at the title code. So this is a salvage vehicle. It does have the odometer. Because this is a runs and drive vehicle, you can see the key there, as well as the gauge cluster live. No check engine light, which is nice, but maybe it's just behind the warnings there. Highlights, runs and drives. Here you'll look for primary and secondary damage. It'll tell you if there's anything outside of what you've already filtered. Estimated retail value is $16,500. This is a pure sale, meaning that there's no reserve. But it is a future sale, so I probably wouldn't touch this until it is put up for sale because you're just going to be shooting yourself in the foot pre-bidding. Lastly, I'll look at anything for shipping. It used to be a lot more expensive, but seems to have come down in price a bit. So I'll just put like Austin's code. Where's this one shipping in from? Dallas. Okay, so $176 to get your whole car delivered to you, 250 miles. I'm happy with that. So that's pretty much it. I don't really see anything crazy here, so let's move on to the next bit. This is what I was going to talk about for if you want to buy a clean title car. So moving on to AutoBidMaster. This is one of those brokerages. If you do want to purchase a clean title vehicle, you will have to go through a broker, at least in Texas. This is more if you're looking for, again, buying a car that's more daily driver friendly, something that you might be able to actually insure a little bit easier and have less hassle with, buying and selling it later down the road. So if you're in the page, I've already signed in because it does make you make an account to kind of utilize its filters and whatnot. Again, we're going to look by state, but if you go to featured items, they have a lot of different segmentations of what the vehicle type is. Like, let's say you don't even want to worry about any reserve auctions, you can just go to pure sale. In this case, again, I'm just going to go to Texas. I just want to look at Texas cars. This will just pull up your closest auctions. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click search here, and then I'm actually going to go down to location and enter Texas. We're going to add all the Texas locations. Next, I'm going to go to vehicle type and click automobile. And you're going to click show all types if you want to add anything else. So I'm not going to add pickups in this case. AutoBidMaster does actually link SUVs in automobile. If you go to body style, you can actually change that. But that pretty much is it. I'm going to do primary damage. And again, we're going to do normal, minor dents and scratches, and vandalism. From here, I'm going to go to make. And we're going to look for anything that is European. We'll do an Aston. We'll do an Alpha. And I might actually just go through each of these individually. But cool. Let's start from the top. So very similar to how Copart is. I want to look for something cool. So let's see what we've got. We've got a couple V12s. So let's see what we have here. 2021 Rolls-Royce Cullinan. Okay. Aston Martin Rapide. Okay. So estimated retail value of $335,000. Looks like we've got some vandalism. Where, though? I don't know. Huh. Okay, well, it does have a salvage history. So maybe this car was in an auction before, which is something I'll touch on as well. But not super sure, but I'm more than happy to buy a $20,000 Rolls Royce. This does end in a day, so I would like to come back to this. I think it'll be kind of funny to see where it ends up. I'm just going to go out on a limb, probably say it's going to go for $150,000. I don't freaking know, but no one's getting a Rolls Royce for $20,000. There is a reserve anyways, so it's going to go for something crazy. Aston Martin Rapide, really, really cool car. One of the better four-door Aston Martins in my opinion. I like the styling. It's very Panamera-y, but it's an Aston Martin, so take that with what you will. Um, Minor dents and scratches. It does have a rebuilt. Why though? I don't know. Again, this is where we have to do a little bit more research and try to figure out what's going on. Runs and drives. I think I did see keys, but not guaranteed. I don't know why they always say that. Right here, you can see it has home delivery as well. So it's only $230 to get this thing shipped to you. That's pretty freaking good. Got some 8 cylinders. Let's see what they got in the 8 cylinder section. Of course, you got your Land Rovers. Got a 7 series, but it's... Oh, a Phaeton. Ooh, okay. Oh, it's a flood title, though. Did I add flood title? Oh, it's because it's under secondary. Okay, now this would be really cool. Okay, it wouldn't be a Phaeton if it didn't have the front end, or if it didn't have the bumper cracks. Okay, it's been towed, so it probably doesn't drive. Okay, this is a really interesting one. So, ooh, transmission's not going in gear probably. I will say it doesn't look like there's a really high water line. I would say if it was there, you're probably kind of safe, but that's right where the transmission is, so I get why it's having issues. But this is really cool. I was doing I haven't been on here in a while, and the last time I came on, I was looking for Phaetons, but you don't see them often, so that's a pretty cool one. Right now, that's going for max bid of $1,000, so you could buy a Phaeton for $1,000. Not working one, but that would be really cool. So this one's located in Houston. Of course, it's a flood title. What am I talking about? I could get this to me for $1,300. Actually, I do like this. Something that they do is they can actually show you the total cost. So, where'd it go? Right here. So 1050. I don't know. I'm just gonna put 1050 just to make it equal. So it actually costs $2,000 after fees, plus about $250 for shipping. So $2,500 for a Phaeton. Not the worst. I mean, Phaeton in particular is probably one you could find around $2,500 in running and driving condition. But again, for the sake of this example, that's pretty cool. Oh, here we go. G12 7 series, 2 G12 7 series, but this one's an M Sport. Air suspension's looking a little low, especially on this right side. No adaptive cruise. Rear end damage. It probably got hit a curb. Oof, 105,000 miles. Does have Bowers and Wilkins. Does not have rear comfort seats or massaging. I think it does have rear heated though. So this is in 5 days. No bid yet. There is a reserve. It's an okay car. I do like that Z4 in the back though. Not the best optioned car. I will say that I probably wouldn't go for that, honestly. That's just me. We saw this car earlier, so I guess because it's a salvage title, it can pop up here still. So yeah, that's AutoBidMaster. That's Copart as well. I don't usually shop at these websites anymore. This is kind of more of my like looking through a dealership inventory. It gives you a better idea of sort of where prices are in the market. Obviously, with prices of like retail being up in past years, it's definitely pretty inflated still, but there are deals to be had on Facebook and of course in the dealerships and private party as well. But this is just, again, a couple ways you can get into something different to just give yourself a higher chance of success. So let's move on to what I actually utilize, something a little bit more local, and yeah, just We'll explore those a little bit more. Hey everyone, Future Donovan here. There was a live auction going on the following weekend as I was filming this video, so wanted to take a quick jump here to the actual auction you're seeing behind me now. Just to go through kind of what that process looks like. I have gone to this auction in particular in person before they had switched it to an online auction, so I thought it'd be cool to go in live, or live for me, to see kind of what that process looks like, since, again, I haven't seen it since going in person. With that being said, this one is called Metro Auto Auction. This one is located a little bit outside of Austin, but they do have a bunch of cool stuff pop up from time to time. A couple of the things I was going to show you guys had already sold, but just to kind of look at what could be for sale, we had a R500 Mercedes wagon that came up. So this one sold for $1,200. It does not have a battery, but other than that, it seems to be fine. Just an open recall. CL500 with a bad engine. That's a little bit suspicious, but still sold for $1,100. I saw a couple BMWs sell through as well. Nothing that I was really tempted for. We'll go to the no sale. I saw a couple things pop up here too. Things that I was kind of thinking might sell. That Volvo was one. You can see this is going pretty quick right here. So that's why I'm trying to get moving here. This TT, I was surprised that this didn't, even though it said bad engine, because the CL sold. This Jag has been here for a while. This Merc, this S430. I think that's everything, yeah. So here's all the stuff that either didn't get. Oh, this one was a reserve not met. So usually the reserves are around $2,000, $1,500. So it is a little bit more expensive depending on how cheap of a car you're trying to get, but oftentimes they can be a good find. This one in particular, that Volvo, was probably not a good one, but this TT was interesting. Bad motor, could really be an interesting engine swap to a proper 5-cylinder, considering it literally is just starting at $500. So I don't know. That would have been an interesting one for sure. This S430 I would not want to touch because it was listed as no start, suspension leaks. I don't remember if they had the key. They usually do have the key. That's what I really like about this one. These are actually like surrendered vehicles or donated vehicles, so you'll always have like a title, a way to get the title. Very reputable auction. I have yet to buy something from them because every time I go, I get outbidded. So in any case, let's go a little bit live here. Currently, we are on 319. So at this particular auction, anything in the 100 range, so like 105, 199, anything in that range does not start. Or sorry, there's a issue with the vehicle that prevents it from driving. Everything above that just means it's okay. It's just a number past that point. But anything in the hundreds, pretty much you don't want to touch. So with where we're at now, let's go to the active and see what we've got left. So they go through this pretty quickly. There's a few different sites that have kind of combined now. This Avalon was really clean. I really wish this was the W8, but of course that's not going to pop up here. Although there was a S600, but that thing's been listed. That's been here for like 6 months. This is an R350. There was a BMW that I don't think was listed this time. This Porsche was really interesting. That'll be pretty cool to look at when it comes up. This Audi and this Hyundai were catching my eye. This STS kind of caught my eye as well, but all right, so I picked out the cars that I was interested in. Got a while for these, so I don't know if I'm going to sit around and wait just because I'm not actually bidding, but in any case, I think it would be interesting to see where they do end up. Just wanted to show this website before we get into Gaston and Sheehan for another local to Austin auction that I think is honestly pretty affordable as well as accessible to the common person. So definitely check this one out. This one's definitely a little bit more for your daily driver sort of focus, because again, these are just donated and charity auction vehicles. So you're really not going to see anything crazy. I have seen some cool stuff before. I saw an E38 740. I saw a E46 323i in manual. There have been some cool cars that do pop up, but again, if you're just looking for a car to get you on the road, these aren't half bad. So let's watch this auction right here, see what it goes up to. So we're starting at 1,000. Looks like no one's bidding on it. Yeah, no one's bidding on it. Run it back, just give it a couple seconds. Not too bad of a car though. Jump starts. No sale. So yeah. With that being said, let's hop back to past Donovan to go into Gaston and Sheehan. Alrighty, so when I was first doing this process, all I would look up is just car auctions. in Texas. You can find quite a lot if you just do it that way. I came across SCA, public auto auctions. These are a little bit more for the masses still, but I mean, this one's located in Austin. I'm sure we could find something cool. Um, Here's another one in Austin, and you can actually find what's going on in their list right now. I mean, shoot, you've got this one ending tomorrow, and there's not even a single bid on it yet. So these have less eyes on them, is what I'm trying to say. That is the benefit of a lot of these local auctions. You're dealing with local business owners, local people like you and I. You have a greater chance of success of actually finding a car that, one, you like, and two, bid on not to an atrocious price, because you're going to go in a bidding war with some guy that's out in South Dakota that wants to buy this for his ranch. So with that being said, I'm actually going to start with Gaston and Sheehan. So this is one that I personally used. This website's not restricted just to car auctions. As you can see here, you can buy a Patek Philippe and a Rolex if you wanted. Pretty interested to see that. But yeah, these typically are just like if they found it at the airport, local ISD, independent school districts trying to get rid of their school supplies, old government fleets that they don't need these vehicles anymore. But what we're looking for our purpose is impound vehicles. So a way that you can get around the buying a car without a clean title is an impound vehicle. If you do these auctions, they know the drill. They will give you all the paperwork that you need in order to get your car titled again. So super easy process. You can register the car just as easily. You get it inspected. With that being said, let's go into a little bit more for our use case of trying to find a car. Looking for those impounders. So we're going to go here. I usually look for the ones that say like by Texans for Texans. For some reason, that's what they put. Looks like that's it right now. There's only 4. There's usually a lot more. I don't see the names I normally see, so maybe they're just restocking their inventory. But let's start with 365. I'll show you kind of how I do this process, and again, just figure it out for your use case. One thing that I always look for is if there's a buyer's premium, so that just covers the fees of the auction house or the towing company themselves. So they charge for storage fees, and essentially that kind of goes to the state, but it also is a fee that they tried to put on the previous person for abandoning their vehicles. They're like, hey, we've impounded your vehicle. It's going to cost this much to get it out. That fee kind of gets put onto you. They want their cut, so they're going to get it somehow. Not too big of an auction here, but I do like this Dodge Stealth. I was a big fan of these. If you're a big fan of the, I think it's called Daimler Chrysler era, the partnership between Chrysler and Mitsubishi. I believe this is the sister car to the 3000 GT, and I forgot the other car, but yeah, these were pretty interesting cars. This one I think just started. This auction ends on 11/6, so yeah, they run for about a week. This one just started. They usually start at 250. It is an automatic. I did see that it had keys, which is nice. Has keys, 201,000 miles. Has title. So this is probably just an abandoned car. Probably was just handed over to the state or something. Someone probably died. Person no longer wanted to take care of that car. So pretty sad to see, but I do like that it has keys and a title. That's a pretty good car. Oh, and we can listen to it running. Yeah, Transverse V6 is not the most fun. All right, so that's that one. We'll see if there's anything else cool, but that's pretty much Gaston and Sheehan. Super easy. I've dealt with them multiple times with questions. Obviously, it's usually on a per company basis with the towing companies, but I really like them. They're super cool, and I'm sure you could find plenty of cool stuff. So, continuing on, let's see if there's anything else cool. Ooh. Well, S-Class? I think this is the W220, I want to say. I was a big fan of those cars. Got a Mercedes E-Class, little X5 action, another C-Class, Bonded title. I'll probably get rid of that one real quick. Little Datsun. Okay, I'll pull that up. This is a big auction. Wow, there's a lot of cars here. Ooh. C300 with a salvage title. So, of course, you've got your typical aired out suspension, blown out rear tire. Oof, this must have been something bad. This was pulled in 9.3, so it hasn't been here too long. I don't like that it doesn't have interior pictures, which means they probably don't have the key. $175 bid. Yeah, I don't know. Moving on to this E-Class. Broken taillight. It's a diesel. It's got blue tech. Also no pictures on the inside, so no key. X5, stated no key. This is the 35, and this is a 2007, so this is probably an N54. Not a fan. Out of focus C300 with some rear 3/4 damage. Also no pictures, no key, bonded title. Yeah, I'm not touching that. This Datsun's cool. I'm going to guess again, someone probably just abandoned it. Yeah, it's a roller. I'm not even going to... Yeah. 2020 C300 is pretty interesting. Major accident, so just obviously not worth it to repair. Does have key though, so $2,500 though. Yikes. All right, I think that's it for that auction. So moving on to Lone Star, what do they have? Ooh, an Avalon. I'm a fan of Avalons. A Volkswagen Past. I think they meant Passat. Okay, this isn't the generation of the Avalon I like, so... And there's also no key, so... Oh, that Passat is fricked. Alright, last one. Let's see if they've got anything good. S80, good start. I'm a big fan of those. Was a really big fan of the Top Gear review that they had. X3. Lexus GS, I'm cool with that. IS. An M6. Okay. That's going to be interesting. We've got what I think is either an X1 or an X2. And, okay, an S-Class. All right, so let's go through some of these and see what they've got. So starting with the Volvo we saw, doesn't say it has a key, but that's, aside from the dirty factor, this one's, yeah, that's too much damage for me. X3, big fan of these guys. I'm a really big fan of when they have the little washers on the front bumper. I think they look so funny. This is a 3-liter, the SI. So this is a sport version. This has I think it's hotter cams and a few other things. So I think it's an N52, but it pushes out more power. Standard N52 pushes out about 230. I think this pushes out 250, 260 maybe. I'll put some figures here or something, but this is pretty cool. It's got the Xenons. I guess those are the sport wheels. Pretty cool. I like this. This has definitely been neglected. They left their phone, maybe. They left something. But you do get the original mats, which is pretty cool. And the lighter. So maybe you can report this to insurance under arson. GS. Oh my. That's a lot of trash. Just like this car. I don't think I would touch this. This is the 430, which is the same as the LS 430, so it's a V8. Right now, current bid is $50. So you could theoretically get this car for about $100 after the premium and fees. That would be fun. I moved the IS. Okay, we're not even going to talk about that. Okay, X1. So this is a one of the first. I want to say this was a G chassis car. One of the first G chassis cars. Do not buy these cars. These are a mini in disguise. They're a lifted mini. They're front wheel drive biased. They are absolutely horrendous. The first gen X1 is 100% better. It is. I don't remember if it's still based on the mini platform like the 1 Series was, but it's rear wheel drive. You can get the N55 in it. You can have a 300 horsepower small SUV that's super nimble, super fast. So if the 1 Series is too small for you, get that first gen X1 35i. Those things are freaking rapid. You can get the 28i as well, and that's an N52. Overall, that's a good generation X1. That's like the only one I can recommend for car enthusiasts. But this one, do not touch this. N20, I wouldn't touch that. No, we got a debadged S-Class. I'm going to guess this is the 430. I'm seeing like 3 sets of wheels on this thing. I think this is the spare. But I think these are 430 wheels if I recall. I wouldn't touch these anyways before the turbos if you're looking at these. With the V12, they're the goopy eyes, and like Porsche, these are definitely seen. They're not underappreciated. They are where they should be. They're okay. If you want an S-Class, go for it. But okay, this is really intriguing. So we've got an M6 E66. This is the sister car to the E65 M5, which is obviously the one and only V10 in an M5. Really cool, really unique car, but in coupe form. These were certainly seen as ugly for quite some time, by myself included. I was never a huge fan of the Bengal era cars, especially the E67 series. I'm curious as to why this is here. All these cars are exceptionally dirty. I'm going to guess that it's probably just that they're impounded and they've just been sitting for some time. But no real damage really screamed to me other than this right here. This just kind of looks like maybe it was like a nick on the side of like a... I don't know. I mean, there's no impact damage other than that right spot right there. Maybe it just popped off. Still got its original wheels. Does it have carbon ceramics? I can't tell. PDC, dual xenons, convertible. Okay, engine's looking good. Nothing's taken apart. That's really what I'm looking for. I'm sure there's plenty of leaks, but let's see if they have any interior pics. Holy shit, it's a manual? What is this doing here? This is a crazy spec. A manual M6. Wow. That's awesome. I wonder what this is doing here. Okay, now I'm really intrigued. Not too many of these. If you're familiar with this generation, the M5 was actually only offered in a manual in the US. You could not get it in Europe. Very interesting part about that car. I'm not sure if the M6 is the same. I would assume so, since they're basically the same car. But that's really cool. You really do not see a lot of these. I'll see them in the 645s and 650s pretty commonly, but not usually the M6s. So this is really cool. I really like the brown interior. We've got a nameplate here, Porsche Melbourne. Maybe this was a trade-in car. Is this from Australia? Is there a Melbourne in the United States? I'm not sure. Maybe this, like I said, maybe this was a trade-in. But man, is this thing dirty. This thing was just painted on. I mean, all the cars here are really dirty, but this is really cool. What's the bid going for? 875. That's not bad. So, lots of watchers. Most action doesn't happen till the last day anyways. I could see this going for $4,500, $5,000. There's no key. Here's what we'll do. All right, so now I'm going to show you my process. If I was to actually buy this car, now that I'm intrigued, I would go to this website called Cars for Sale and then go to the free vehicle history reports. We're going to grab the VIN, which I already did, and then I generated the report. It does technically require some information. I have a spam email, but for the sake of not doxing myself, I've just already gone ahead and done it. So from there, you would get a report on the car itself. So breaking this down, what I see is that there's probably been 8 owners, or at least there's 8 title records, so it's just been handed over. You can see when it was last sold, probably from a dealer more specifically. It might have gone through some hands private sales, so that's probably why we're not seeing anything more recently. But if we go down here, current title information, so this is the most recent. So as of 2021, this had 35,000 miles on it. But if you go right below that, this will go through the entire history. And looking right here, we've got January 2010 and 2009. Within a year, it was not driven at all. Exact same mileage. Even here, June 1st to June 25th, 100 miles. What is that? 90 miles. From 2011 to 2013, 3,000 miles driven. And then from there, it was actually driven about 15,000 miles till 2015. Sold to this Kings Point for $42,000, Jesus Christ. And then sold to the current person, I guess, 2015 to 2021. So maybe whoever bought it drove it for about, 8,000 miles and then traded it in. So that's where I think where the Porsche tag comes in from. So maybe it was a trade-in, and then from there they wholesaled it. I don't know how it ended up here, though. That's weird. But on that high note, let's end it here. I hope this gave you at least a little bit of information, kind of a good guide and way of looking into potentially buying your next project car. If you're really interested in stuff like this, I'd be more than happy to help out and kind of just give some guidance. Of course, like I said, look into local guides for your state, your county, if it's even that specific. Sometimes you do have specific laws. I'm really interested to see where this M6 goes. I could not handle this financially. If you're not familiar with these cars, these things will absolutely drain you in terms of financial and mental fortitude. Seeing as I now have 5 cars, this is just definitely not something that I could manage myself. But I might actually have a couple friends who might be financially interested in this. So with that being said, thank you guys so much for sticking with me till the end here. Really appreciate you guys watching. Give it a like, comment, subscribe. And until next time, my name's Donovan. Thanks for watching. See ya.